Have we overlooked one of the most accessible keys to staying youthful, not just in body, but in spirit? While billions are poured into anti-aging creams and high-tech supplements, there exists a daily ritual, ancient, simple, free, that's been quietly practiced by some of the world's longest-living elders. It doesn't happen in labs or clinics. It happens on a mat, in stillness, at sunrise. I'm not here as a guru or influencer. I study holistic health in older adults, combining natural methods from Eastern and Western medicine, nutrition, and traditional wisdom. Every solution I share is rooted in what fits, not in miracles, but in what actually supports your body. And after more than a decade listening to what American seniors say when the cameras are off about feeling stiff, tired, or invisible, I believe we've ignored something powerful: movement as medicine. Today, I want to introduce you to a practice known as the Five Tibetan Rites. Just 5 movements, 10 minutes a day. They might not change how old you are, but they could transform how old you feel. Let's begin. Rite 1. The spinning energy. Meet Josephine, 67, from Santa Fe. A retired school teacher, she once felt drained just walking to her mailbox. Her mornings were foggy, her balance shaky, and her motivation low. Then she discovered something unusual: a simple, ancient practice that involved slowly spinning in place. Arms extended, feet grounded, she began turning clockwise, starting with just 3 spins, then building up to 12 over time. She didn't expect much, but after a few weeks, she noticed her mornings felt different. Her balance improved, her thoughts were clearer, her mood lighter. So why spinning? Scientifically, it stimulates the vestibular system, the body's internal balance center located in the inner ear. As we age, this system becomes less responsive, which contributes to instability and even brain fog. Gentle, intentional spinning helps reawaken this system, kind of like rebooting your internal compass. For those who lean spiritual, the motion is said to activate energy centers or chakras, promoting vitality and emotional harmony. But even skeptics find it grounding. It gives you something rare in the modern world: control over your own momentum. If you try it, start slowly, breathe, focus your gaze, keep it gentle, and listen to your body. Viral quote: "Most people feel dizzy because life spins them. I spin first to take control." Josephine says now she begins each day with clarity, not chaos. "That spin," she told me, "reminds me I'm still centered. I get to decide how my day moves." Maybe that's the real power, not in the spin itself, but in reclaiming who's in charge of your energy. Rite 2. Leg lifts and core revival. Lie flat on your back, arms at your sides. Slowly lift your legs and head at the same time, keeping your knees straight and feet together. Hold for a breath, then gently lower. Repeat up to 21 times, or as many as your body allows. The goal isn't perfection, it's presence. Robert, 72, from Asheville, used to wake up with a stiff back and a heavy chest. Chronic lower back pain kept him from walking far, and he struggled to stand up straight. Then he added this rite to his morning routine. At first, he could only manage 5 reps, but within 2 months, his posture improved, his breath deepened, and his sleep, once restless, became restorative. So, what makes this movement so powerful? It targets your core muscles, the deep stabilizers around your spine, hips, and abdomen. As we age, these muscles weaken, which impacts everything from balance to digestion. By gently engaging them, this rite strengthens your foundation and supports lower back health, reducing the risk of falls and instability. And there's another bonus. This movement activates the solar plexus area, associated in many traditions with personal power and energy flow. Robert now starts his mornings with a simple mantra: strong core, steady day. Sometimes the path to strength isn't loud. It begins with quiet movements and the courage to begin again. Rite 3. The kneeling back bend. Begin in a kneeling position, knees hip-width apart, hands resting gently on your thighs. As you inhale, arch your spine and slowly tilt your head back, lifting your chest toward the sky. As you exhale, return to upright, soft, steady, and relaxed. Repeat 21 times, or as many as feels safe for your body. Mildred, 74, from Spokane, had lived with stiffness in her neck and upper back for over a decade. Turning her head while driving became difficult, and she often felt constricted in her breath. After consulting with her physical therapist, she began practicing this movement just 5 repetitions a day at first. Within weeks, her range of motion improved. She reported less tension, better posture, and unexpectedly easier digestion. Why? This simple arcing motion does more than stretch the spine. It opens the chest, expands the lungs, and stimulates the abdominal organs. The gentle compression and release mimics a natural massage for your gut, supporting internal detox and encouraging better blood flow. Emotionally, it also symbolizes openness of the heart, of breath, of presence. Viral quote, "The more I bend, the more life flows through me." Mildred now calls this movement her morning opening. It reminds her she's not closing with age, she's still unfolding. And maybe, so are you. Rite 4, the table bridge. Sit on the floor with your legs extended in front of you, feet hip-width apart. Place your hands beside your hips, fingers pointing forward. As you inhale, press into your hands and feet, lifting your hips toward the sky into a reverse tabletop position. As you exhale, gently lower your body back down. Aim for 21 repetitions or start with just a few. At first, Clarence, 70, from Minneapolis, thought this move was beyond him. He hadn't done anything like it in decades. Getting up from his couch was already a challenge, but he tried once a day, with pillows nearby for support. Within 3 weeks, Clarence could hold the bridge for 10 seconds, then 15. One day, he surprised himself by rising from the ground without help. He said, "It was the first time in years I felt strong, not stuck." This movement strengthens the glutes, lower back, shoulders, and arms muscle groups crucial for standing, walking, and preventing injury. It also opens the chest and stretches the front body, which often collapses from too much sitting or hunching. Beyond the physical, it rebuilds trust in your own strength, in your ability to lift. Clarence now ends each session by smiling at the ceiling. Because when you lift your body, no matter how small the movement, you remind yourself, "I still rise." Rite 5, the upward-downward dog flow. Begin in a push-up position. As you exhale, press your hips upward into an inverted V shape, downward dog, stretching your spine and hamstrings. On the inhale, lower your hips and lift your chest into upward dog, shoulders rolled back, heart open. Flow gently between these two poses with each breath. Repeat up to 21 times, or stop where your body says enough. Carla, 69, from Eugene, hadn't been able to touch her toes in over 15 years. Her knees ached from gardening. Mornings felt stiff and tight, like she was unfolding a cardboard box. But this rite changed everything. She began slowly, using a mat, supporting her wrists, and keeping her knees slightly bent. By the end of the second month, she completed the flow with ease. Her legs felt longer, her spine lighter. So why is this flow so powerful? It stretches the entire back and front body, hamstrings, calves, shoulders, wrists, and spine. It also strengthens the arms, improves blood circulation, and gently massages the digestive organs. Energetically, it teaches rhythm, a give and take between strength and surrender, lift and release. Every morning, I move like water and pain doesn't stick. Carla says now, instead of waking up in pain, she wakes up in flow. And sometimes, all it takes is breathing your way back into your body. Putting it all together, 10 minutes to a new you. Now, take a breath. 5 movements. No machines, no studios, just you, your breath, and a bit of floor space. Practicing the 5 Tibetan Rites doesn't require perfection. You don't have to hit 21 reps right away. You don't need yoga pants or incense. What you need, what really matters, is consistency. Many seniors begin with just 3 repetitions of each rite. That's it. And over time, they build up. Day by day, their bodies become more responsive. Their mornings less stiff. Their hearts more open. Take Richard, 76, from Vermont. He started this practice after a fall shook his confidence. 2 months in, he's walking steadier, laughing more, and as he puts it, feeling like a man with momentum again. Or Eleanor, 80, who once needed help getting out of bed. Now she flows through the rites with grace and says her memory, digestion, and even skin have improved. These aren't miracles. This is movement, gentle, intentional, and rooted in your rhythm. Set aside 10 minutes. Turn off the noise. Listen to your body. This is your time, your ritual, not to escape aging, but to embrace vitality through it. Because sometimes feeling better doesn't start at the pharmacy. It starts on the floor with a breath and a decision to begin. Why Western medicine is finally paying attention. For years, practices like the 5 Tibetan Rites were dismissed as fringe, too ancient, too spiritual, too out there for modern science. But that's changing. Today, more researchers and physicians are starting to look closely at what these movements actually do to the aging body. Not just anecdotally, but measurably. Studies from institutions like Harvard and Stanford now explore how gentle, rhythmic movement affects the nervous system, reduces cortisol, and supports lymphatic drainage, our body's natural detox channel. Some gerontologists call the rites dynamic meditation because they improve not only physical strength and flexibility, but also mental clarity and emotional stability. Dr. Elaine Winters, a rehabilitation specialist in Boston, describes these movements as accessible functional therapy. In her words, the best mobility work is the kind that becomes a ritual. That's why it works. And unlike medication, these rites come with no side effects, no cost, no prescription, just presence. Even hospitals and senior centers are beginning to offer modified versions for balance recovery, fall prevention, and stress reduction. Why? Because they work. The world of Western medicine is finally recognizing what ancient cultures knew all along. Movement is medicine, and the simplest movements, done with breath and care, often bring the deepest healing. Maybe that's not old wisdom. Maybe it's timeless. So maybe aging isn't about decline. Maybe it's about rediscovering rhythm, reclaiming breath, reawakening parts of you that never stopped working, they just stopped being heard. What if the stiffness you feel each morning isn't your body giving up, but calling you back? What if 10 quiet minutes on a mat could return what years of medication never could: presence, energy, and dignity? You don't need to become flexible overnight. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin gently, honestly, with yourself. Because in the end, the 5 rites aren't just about movement. They're about remembering. You're still here, and that matters. I've seen people in their 60s, 70s, even 80s transform not into younger versions of themselves, but into stronger, calmer, more connected ones. Now I ask you, will you give your body this chance to speak? Will you move not to fight aging, but to flow with it? Let me know below. Which of the 5 rites are you drawn to and why? Or just type the word ready if you're choosing to begin. And if there's someone you care about, someone who feels stuck, stiff, or left behind, share this video with them. Because sometimes healing doesn't come from doing more, it comes from doing less on purpose. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, may your mornings be lighter and your breath your guide.